Eastern University.
Tom Cameron's Grace.
Chet Huntley. David Brinkley. John Chancellor.
Tom Brokaw.
1 week later, rescuers work overtime, but some of the stranded refuse to leave. The president is back in the storm zone, and new warnings tonight that 10,000 people may have died. Shock and awe. Some go back for the first time today to see what this devastating hurricane did to their homes. The children. Thousands rescued, but in the process torn away from their parents. Will these families ever be reunited? And the chief. President Bush nominates John Roberts to replace William Rehnquist as Chief Justice before he's even confirmed.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. On this Labor Day holiday weekend across this country, most Americans no doubt tried very hard to enjoy this traditional last blast of summer. That is, until their thoughts inevitably were drawn right back to our sad national obsession, the tragedy unfolding still on the U.S. Gulf Coast. And the news today, more like a prediction, could not be more grim. Even as an army of relief workers now descend on the area, there are fears as many as 10,000 people may be dead. And here's a first. 1 week after this storm, water being pumped out of the city of New Orleans tonight by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Again tonight, our correspondents are covering the devastation and the recovery that spans an area of 90,000 square miles. We begin in New Orleans. This was truly a day of labor there. My colleague John Siegenthaler is there for us tonight. John, good evening.
Good evening to you, Brian. 7 days after this storm hit, rescue workers are still trying to save lives and in some cases pleading with people to leave their homes.
They don't call them diehards for nothing. In New Orleans today, rescue workers found plenty of men and women who can wait to leave.
You're gonna die. You can't stay down here.
Anger is all around, and while evacuees welcomed the president in Baton Rouge today,
I'm glad the doctor's here to help him.
We're all going to be watching.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
UMFSU tonight. Well, some young children spent their holiday helping the victims of Hurricane Katrina.
Cody, Curtis, Kristen, Matthew, and TJ opened up a lemonade stand yesterday in their Dania Beach neighborhood. So far, they've raised $185, and their dad's company, Lowe's, has promised to match their total.
Giving to charity, a great lesson at any age.
That's right. That does it for us, folks. We'll see you tonight after the game.
We now join World News Tonight, already in progress. Have a great night.
Have a great evening.
This September, a woman will be president.
I ask the people of the United States to stand with me now, unwavering.
Oscar winner Gina Davis is Commander-in-Chief. Premieres Tuesday, September 27th, 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
You gotta love this place.
Ashley Furniture Home Store, the fastest growing furniture retailer in America, is now open in 4 great locations.
Yo, we're gonna love this place.
Now you'll be able to purchase the #1 selling home furniture brand in America at true Ashley Direct prices. Plus, during our grand opening, you'll enjoy no interest until 2008 and next day delivery. This is one grand opening you can't afford to miss.
Ashley Furniture Home Store. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. You're gonna love this place.
1, 2, 3.
Reach for dairy and reach your goal of a trimmer waist. Clinical studies indicate 3 servings of cheese, milk, or yogurt each day can give better results in trimming waistlines than cutting calories alone. Because dairy's natural mix of nutrients helps the body lose more inches around the waist.
1, 2, 3.
It's in your reach. See other women's success and learn more at 3aday.org.
Chevy's proud to be the #1 selling passenger car brand in America. And we have the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. We've always broken the rules. Now we're rewriting them with the Chevy employee discount for everyone. You pay what we pay, not a cent more. Get an 05 Trailblazer LS 2-wheel drive with an MSRP of $28,335 for a Chevy employee discount price of $22,400 after cash back. See your Southern Chevy dealers.
For a good.
Well, hello.
New, low rates in Florida.
Infertility is a common health problem that affects approximately 4.5 million couples each year. At South Florida Institute for Reproductive Medicine, we understand the frustration and sense of helplessness that an infertile couple feels. That's why we offer our patients the latest technology in infertility treatment at the most competitive price in South Florida. At South Florida Institute for Reproductive Medicine, our success rate speaks for itself, and we look forward to helping you have your dreams come true.
Nobody can do what Maaco does. Maaco can repaint your entire car, fast. In most cases, just a few days. Our economical ambassador paint service is only $229. Make it easy, make it right, make it Maaco.
Dwight Lauderdale, Lori Jennings, Local 10 News.
For help now come from dogs left behind, some in trees, others on slivers of porches still above water. There are holes punched through rooftops from people who were trapped inside. Daryl Jones is from the 9th Ward. He spent the last week directing his own rescue effort.
On top of roofs and attics, most of them just stand on top of any large vehicle.
14,000 people lived here, and authorities suspect the death toll will be great. The water came too fast.
This is the actual levee that runs along the canal on the eastern side of the city. And when the hurricane hit, the water came through the canal at such force it was apparently too much. You can see the massive breach here. And when you look around the corner, you can see what the water did to the lower 9th Ward. It completely destroyed neighborhoods.
I heard something go boom!
Joe Edwards rushed to get himself and as many neighbors as possible into his truck. They drove to this bridge where they've been living ever since.
My house broke in half. My mother's house just disintegrated. It was a brick house. All the houses down there floated down the street like somebody's guiding.
Was it solely the water that broke the levee? Or was it the force of this barge that now sits where homes once did? Joe Edwards says neither. People are so bitter, so disenfranchised in this neighborhood, they actually think the city did it, blowing up the levee to save richer neighborhoods like the French Quarter.
So you're convinced?
I know it happened.
That they broke the levee on purpose?
They blew it.
New Orleans mayor says there's no credence to this.
That storm was so powerful and it pushed so much water. There's no way anyone could have calculated what levy the dynamite to have the kind of impact to save the French Quarter.
An LSU expert who looked at the video today says while the barge may have caused it, it was most likely the sheer force of the water that brought the levee along the lower 9th Ward down. David Muir, ABC News, New Orleans.
About half the people dispersed from the flood zone have been sent to Texas, but the governor of Texas is now saying that he cannot handle any more people and has ordered a major airlift to take the overflow of the people to other states. Arkansas has accepted 50,000, Tennessee 13,000. Tens of thousands more are scattered from Oklahoma to California, and many of these people say they have no reason to go back to New Orleans. An official state of emergency now exists in 13 different states. In many places, it's been declared by states so that they can get federal money to deal with the influx of people from the hurricane area. But it's becoming quickly evident that the government cannot handle all of the people that are coming from the hurricane. So Nancy Weiner tonight on the people all across the country opening up their private doors.
With 230,000 people now staying in shelters, this tragedy has spawned a variation on the foster home. In Baton Rouge, 11 members of the Rain family, including 4 children, great-grandmother, and twins on the way, are out of the shelter and in the home of a woman they just met, Chandra Earl.
She said, baby, she said, you don't know why I'm here? I said, no, ma'am. She said, I come here to get a family. I said, you come here to get a family? She said, baby, get your family, and I'm going to take you to my home.
This is not a wealthy neighborhood, and Miss Earl is not a wealthy woman, but she's sharing her space, her food, her washer and dryer.
A foster parent is a person that takes care of people that have no place to go. That's it. They help them. They just take them in.
And is that you?
I guess.
In Atlanta, Walter Tardif is putting up 33 relatives in his 3-bedroom house.
They're here until they get back on their feet.
The website Craigslist has been flooded with posts from people offering to take in victims of Katrina. We are a fun family with lots of toys, says Jason in Houston. San Diego businessman David Perez chartered a 737 to take 87 flood victims to California, where he's setting them up with homes, schools, and jobs. Many displaced families would like to find a place to rent. They have the means to rent, but they can't find anything. Alex Lewis manages 10 apartment complexes in Baton Rouge.
We've got no vacancy signs up, but people are still stopping.
Yeah, I think I better do 3.
Since word got out about Miss Earle's generosity, her phone has been ringing off the hook.
And how many babies you need Pampers for?
It may not be home, but it's a home. Nancy Weiner, ABC News, Baton Rouge.
In Houston today, former Presidents Bush and Clinton formally began their program to help people by raising money for people affected by the hurricane. They hope that the new fund will help people who would otherwise be overlooked by government programs. How are we going to find jobs for these people, asked President Clinton. Where are they really going to live? So many of them feel lost. And when we come back, the man running relief efforts for the federal government. He knows a lot about horses, but does he have the experience needed to save a region from disaster? In other news, the new battle for the Supreme Court. What happens now that President Bush has chosen John Roberts to succeed William Rehnquist as Chief Justice? And the desperate search for a 3-pound infant left behind in New Orleans. The young family that will be reunited.
This is World News Tonight, brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color.
I thought dating again would be tough.
He's cute. Is he younger than me?
Maybe getting rid of my gray hair was just what I needed.
Just for Men targets only the gray hair, replaces it with subtle tones for a natural look. In 5 easy minutes.
I wonder how I did tonight.
Would you like to come in?
This is it. This is just for men.
Me and BB King have a lot in common. We both have diabetes. He doesn't like to wait for results. I don't like to wait.
All done within 5 seconds. You just can't beat that.
Ask for One Touch Ultra. One Touch changes everything.
Does it bother you when mac and cheese isn't made with 100% real cheese? It bothers us. See what's cooking at Stouffer's.
My new grandson should always feel safe in my hands, arthritis, pain, or not. That's why I trust Advil. Even after 20 years, nothing has been proven more effective on tough pain. Not Tylenol, not Aleve.
Advil, fast, strong, trusted.
If you're over 50 and take calcium, you may be cheating your bones if you don't get enough vitamin D. Yet Tums has none. Caltrate Chewables has D to help optimize calcium absorption. Get more with great-tasting, fruit-flavored Caltrate Chewables.
Cholesterol comes from 2 sources. It's not only from that buttered crab, but from Krabby Aunt Betty. And not just from that ice cream pop, but from Mom and Pop as well. Your cholesterol doesn't just come from food. It also has a lot to do with family history. Ask your doctor about Vytorin. A healthy diet is important, but when it's not enough, adding Vytorin can help. Vytorin treats the 2 sources of cholesterol, food, and what your body makes naturally based on family history. Vytorin was proven in clinical studies to lower bad cholesterol more than Lipitor alone. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Unexplained muscle pain or weakness could be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Vytorin may interact with other medicines or certain foods, increasing your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Follow a healthy diet and ask your doctor about adding Vytorin. For the 2 sources of cholesterol, remember the name Vytorin. That's Vytorin.
There is another major story today that will also have implications for the country for years to come. President Bush named John Roberts this morning as his choice to be the new Chief Justice of the United States. Roberts was the president's choice to succeed Sandra Day O'Connor on the High Court. Now he's being nominated instead to succeed William Rehnquist, who died over the weekend. ABC's Terry Moran is at the White House with the story. Terry?
Charlie, the president moved immediately to nominate a man who's already been thoroughly vetted and who's generated little opposition so far. So Roberts looks to be a pretty safe choice, and Mr. Bush needs that badly now.
This morning in the Oval Office, President Bush said the man he'd already nominated to the Supreme Court was ready to serve as its leader.
Both those who worked with him
and those who have faced him in the courtroom speak with admiration of his striking ability as a lawyer and his natural gifts as a leader.
The president also made clear he believes Judge Roberts can be quickly confirmed by the Senate.
They know his record and his fidelity to the law. I'm confident that the Senate can complete hearings and confirm him as Chief Justice within a month.
First reactions from Senate Democrats to Mr. Bush's move were cautious.
To have a leader on the bench is important, but it's more important what direction that leader would take us.
There's a kind of symmetry in Roberts' nomination to be Chief Justice. 25 years ago, he clerked for William Rehnquist, and yesterday spoke fondly of him.
Our country's lost a remarkable public servant, and my family and I have lost a very dear friend.
The key question now, who will President Bush choose to replace O'Connor? The short list is familiar, basically the same as it was before Roberts was nominated. It includes federal judges Edith Clement of Louisiana, Michael Luttig of Virginia, Priscilla Owen of Texas, and former Deputy Attorney General Larry Thompson. Attorney General Alberto Gonzales, who was considered a frontrunner earlier, has run into stiff opposition from Senate Democrats for his role in the war on terror and from conservatives who view him as too moderate. As he considers his options this time, Mr. Bush faces new political considerations.
There's even more pressure now than there was back in July to pick a woman or a minority, for the simple reason that this is the president's second at bat, and he chose a white man the first time around.
Right now, Mr. Bush is under intense political pressure because of the inadequate federal response to Katrina. But his conservative political base really wants to replace the centrist O'Connor with someone well to the right of her. So, Charlie, this is a very tricky political moment for the president.
Terry Moran this evening at the White House. When we come back, the head of FEMA under fire. Did he have the skills needed to run the government's response to Katrina?
It's frustrating. Just when you're ready to relax, that's when it happens. The urge to move, along with uncomfortable sensations in your legs. They're hard to describe, but they can even keep you from getting to sleep. You feel the urgent need to get up and move, just to get some relief. There's a name for it, restless leg syndrome. And if you have it, you're among the nearly 1 in 10 U.S. adults who do. Want to know more? Visit restlesslegs.com or talk to your doctor.
Now make a 3-inch incision between the 4th and 5th abdominal muscles.
Shouldn't you be doing this?
Making important financial decisions on your own doesn't make much sense either. That's why Edward Jones prefers meeting clients face-to-face.
If someone has a complaint about one of our products, I'm usually the first one to hear it. I work in the customer call center at Tylenol, and since I was the first one to hear you tell us that our arthritis medicine was great, but you had to fight to open the bottle, I wanted to be the first one to introduce you to this. Not just an easier to open cap, but the easiest to open arthritis cap you can buy.
Me? I'm a problem solver. One problem I thought I'd solved? My acid reflux disease. I thought it was just bad heartburn, but when I went back to my doctor, he told me over time stomach acid had damaged the lining of my esophagus. He prescribed Nexium, said I needed more than heartburn relief. My esophagus needed repair. Nexium healed the erosions in my esophagus, and one prescription Nexium pill a day keeps me healed and relieves my heartburn. My doctor did say other serious stomach conditions may still exist, and headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain could be side effects of Nexium. Even the best problem solvers need a little help sometimes.
Ask your doctor about Nexium, the healing purple pill.
Not one of these allergy medicines can give you long-lasting seasonal allergy relief without the risk of drowsiness. But Allegra 180 can. For people 12 and over, side effects alone may include headache, cold, or backache. Long-lasting Allegra. The relief goes on.
For people with diabetes, eating right and controlling weight is essential and hard to do. Glucerna as a delicious meal or snack helps control blood sugar. And with a little exercise, it may help you lose weight. Glucerna, it's time for a taste of freedom.
Back to Katrina now. Over the weekend, Aaron Broussard, who is one of the local parish or county leaders near New Orleans, put a perhaps inflammatory point on things when he called what happened there over the past few days murder by bureaucracy. Local, state, and federal officials continue to find examples of critical aid that was available to help people and was not used. There are also some very real questions about the federal official ultimately in charge of relief efforts. Here's ABC's Brian Ross, Chief Investigative Correspondent. Brian?
Charlie, all those questions add even more fuel to the fire over the man in charge of FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
There is some command.
Michael Brown had virtually no experience with emergency management when the president put him in the top FEMA job 2 years ago.
What happened here was a worst-case situation.
And his official resume omits the job he previously held. Brown was a top official of an Arabian Horse Association, which asked him to resign in 2001, according to the association secretary.
Now, I can't see for the life of me what heading a horse association has to do with responding to domestic preparedness.
Brown was recommended for the FEMA job by his predecessor and Oklahoma college roommate, Joseph Albaugh. In a statement today, Albaugh said Brown worked under him for 2 years at FEMA, and he learned the system and was my logical successor. Albaugh is now a consultant for private companies seeking government contracts with FEMA and others.
It would appear that it has become a political patronage office.
The long list of FEMA's failures is headed by what happened at the City Convention Center, where 25,000 people were essentially forgotten for 4 days. On Nightline last Thursday, Brown had no good answer about that.
Don't you guys watch television? Don't you guys listen to the radio? Our reporters have been reporting about it for more than just today.
We learned about it factually today, that's what existed.
Local officials and private executives also say under Brown, FEMA repeatedly refused offers of help that could have saved lives.
If that's true, that's absolutely unacceptable.
The Bush administration continued to support Brown today, as President Bush did last Friday on his first visit to the scene.
And Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job. The FEMA director's working 24 hours.
Of course, there's enough blame to go around, with questions now about the decisions made by state and local authorities, and a larger question of what happened to FEMA when it stopped being an independent agency and was put under the umbrella of Homeland Security, with diminished status and diminished budgets. Charlie?
Our Chief Investigative Correspondent, Brian Ross. And when we come back, the story of a family reunited. The baby boy left in the flood zone and the parents who were so desperate to find him.
I'm not going to let health concerns hold me back.
From doing a single lap,
Doing a single turn.
Some multivitamins talk a good game, but Centrum Silver is a specially age-adjusted multivitamin with high levels of B vitamins, which emerging science suggests may help reduce the risk of vascular diseases, including heart disease, and with calcium to help maintain healthy blood pressure.
I can't wait for my next gig.
my next plunge.
Centrum Silver, adjusted for your age and your life.
Sadly, arthritis pain can mean the end of life's little pleasures. But not for people who use Aleve. People whose doctors have told them the good news about the strength and safety of Aleve. The good news that only Aleve can stop arthritis pain all day with just 2 pills. That would take 8 Tylenol. Take back the pleasure arthritis pain took away. Ask your doctor about the good news. Ask your doctor about Aleve.
Introducing the 2006 Impala. Available with the powerful 303 horsepower small block V8. It's a whole new animal. Chevy Impala, an American revolution.
Sometimes it's hard to remember my own grandson's name.
He had trouble doing even everyday things.
These problems may not be normal aging. They could be early signs of Alzheimer's disease. Talk to your doctor. Early treatment is important. Call now to get an information pamphlet, free from the makers of Aricept, the #1 prescribed Alzheimer's medication. It suggests signs to look for and how to talk to your doctor. If it is mild to moderate Alzheimer's, Aricept can help. It is well tolerated, but not for everyone.
People at risk for stomach ulcers or who take certain other medicines should tell their doctors because serious stomach problems such as bleeding may get worse. Some people experience fainting. Common side effects are nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, not sleeping well, muscle cramps, feeling tired, or not feeling hungry. In studies, these were usually mild and temporary.
Aricept is helping him do better.
Call 1-877-MEMORY-6. If it's Alzheimer's, Aricept can help.
If you have indoor or outdoor allergies, ask your doctor about something different, Singulair. While many allergy medicines block histamine, Singulair works differently by blocking leukotrienes, an underlying cause of allergy symptoms. And Singulair is now approved to help relieve both indoor and outdoor allergy symptoms for a full 24 hours. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Singulair, a different way to treat indoor and outdoor allergies.
I'm going to go out there and I'm going to take the oath of office. And if some nations can't tolerate a female president, it will be more their problem than mine.
Oscar winner Gina Davis is Commander-in-Chief. Premieres Tuesday, September 27th, 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
Finally tonight, a glimmer of hope. The aftermath of Hurricane Katrina has been described, and we've heard this so many times over the last few days, as the worst single displacement of American citizens since the Dust Bowl of the 1930s. That fact certainly captures the magnitude of this disaster, but not necessarily the humanity. In the past week, it has been the water and not the dust that has torn families apart. Tonight, ABC's Barbara Pinto on the joy of bringing families back together.
This is where Isidore Atkins and Joy Armand were a week ago, floating
Ego, the first arrived there today to applause and tears, but by far the most evacuees are in Texas, and former Presidents Bush and Clinton visited the Houston Astrodome today, which is now filled to capacity. They were there to offer comfort and to help raise money for storm victims. Now to the other major story quickly of the day, the Supreme Court. The president today nominated federal Judge John Roberts to replace Chief Justice William Rehnquist, who died Saturday night. Wyatt Andrews is at the Supreme Court tonight. Wyatt?
Bob, this nomination to Chief Justice for Judge Roberts gives the president tremendous advantages. Judge Roberts, to this point, remember, has been through much of the nomination process so far, not the confirmation hearings, but all of the investigations. No serious political opposition has been raised. And so the president and most Republicans believe he can be confirmed as Chief Justice relatively quickly in time for the court. It gives the president the justice he wants in the job that he wants when he wants it.
Now, Wyatt, you're going to, they are postponing the hearings on John Roberts, I'm told, at least till the end of the week, possibly into next week. Any word on when the president will nominate somebody to replace Justice O'Connor?
Bob, he has said he wants that in a timely manner. Both conservatives and liberals want the president to name this very, very quickly. I believe it's going to be next week.
Well, any idea of who it's going to be? Will it be a more conservative nominee? Will it be a liberal? What's the guessing down there right now?
The guessing is that the Democrats believe the president, because he's in trouble over Katrina, will be under pressure to name a centrist. Conservatives will push hard for a hardline conservative.
And that is because, as I understand it, they believe the president has been weakened by the responses on the hurricane here. And they think they're going to need him. He's going to need him. That's right, Bob.
They think that the president has been weakened in areas such as civil rights, that he looks bad on the civil rights point, and they think that means a centrist.
Okay. Thanks, Wyatt. That's it. Good night, everyone.
Guess who just got Comcast digital cable with On Demand? That means endless kids programming, HBO On Demand, so we can watch Sex in the City anytime. Gearhead shows start whenever we want. And HBO's Rome, the saga of two soldiers during the rise of an empire. Gotta love that.
Enjoy a library